The college football playoff is set, James, and the playoff committee, they sent a clear message to college football fans everywhere. Before we get into what that message is, for the people, y'all make sure y'all are liking and subscribing to our content here on Big Game Energy Sports. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok, please. Now, James, I'm going to give you the top 12.
Okay.
As we go, I want your reactions to all their rankings because I have a couple of feelings towards some of these placements and what it means for college football going forward. Indiana, big winner over the weekend. They win the Big Ten. No arguments here. They are the number one seed, and I love that. I think that's a great story. Fernando Mendoza, is he the Heisman?
Probably.
I think he's probably the Heisman, even if that interview at the end was kind of cringe. But James, I'm not going to lie. I know Ohio State was the number one team in the nation all year long.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like them being ranked number 2 is a bit, I think it's kind of weak. I'm not going to lie. Here's why. I think for conference championship games to have weight, they need to mean something if you win or lose, right? I think this game, a game of 1 versus 2, the loser should have fallen to 5. You're still in the playoff. You're still a very high-ranked seed, but you need to have some implications for losing the conference title game. That's just how I personally feel, because then the rest of the top 4 would have been conference champions except for A&M, or however you would have worked it out. That would have been where it gets kind of fuzzy, and that's where you could poke holes in what I'm saying here. But nonetheless, that is why it means nothing. You went into the Big Ten championship game knowing that whoever won is still going to get a bye week. And Indiana, yes, great for them, but does it really matter that they won? It just changed what side of the bracket they're on.
Yeah, no, so I'm with you. Indiana winning, I kid you not. I woke up and I saw that. I was like, basketball season's over already? That's just what I thought. Who would have thought Indiana out of all teams would have won, the Big Ten in football? It's like, wow. But no, Ohio State in my mind, yeah, if you lose, you should drop from the rankings. And for a team who has all the 5 stars, all the 4 stars, into, basically getting not embarrassed, but look your weakest versus a team that everyone considered probably a weaker team than you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I had Ohio State dropping at 4 at least for me, because you lost at the highest stage, and guess what? Georgia won the SEC title easily. Texas Tech won the Big 12 title easily. Those teams dominated. So it's like, how can 2 teams dominate and not move up past a team that basically just looked anemic all night?
Yeah, after that, Oregon at 5, Ole Miss 6, A&M 7, OU and Alabama get in 8 and 9. Miami, though, the lone ACC team, wasn't even the conference winner, gets in as the 10 seed, which meant with Duke pulling the upset over the weekend, they, a 5-loss team, cannot be in the playoffs. So Tulane and JMU round out the top 12 as the highest ranked conference champions. James, how do you feel looking at this bracket and seeing JMU and Tulane's logos up there?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, it reminds me of freaking March Madness. That's what it looks like. All these teams gonna get in, and it looks weird. Now I will say this. I'm happy how it got drawn out. I mean, yeah, Notre Dame might have got screwed. Did some other teams get screwed like Vanderbilt? Maybe. But at the end of the day, we always talk about it, Spence. Handle your business on the field. If you don't, it's tough luck. I mean, like I said, this is going to happen in college football. We had a 4 team. We complain. We now have a 12 team. We complain. Guess what? We're going to move to 16, and we are going to be crying about 8-4 Iowa on that damn list. And then we'll move it to 24, and then we are going to cry about freaking 8-4 Tennessee,
And 7
and
and 5 Duke still wouldn't be let in.
yeah, but I will say this, everyone knocks on Duke. Everyone knocks on Duke for being 7-5. In a technicality, I guess for them, they played a tough non-conference schedule for them because they lost all of them. So it was like they lost all their non-conferences, and they went 6-2 in the ACC. Now, of course, we talked about it earlier. They need to just fix the tiebreaker rules, because Miami should have played in the ACC title game versus Virginia. How Miami didn't get picked after the 5th tiebreaker, come on. Like, Miami was ranked top 20 all year long, and they didn't make the ACC title game. But I will say, I thought the committee got it right. But if you ask me this, as a Bama fan, as a Roll Tide fan, I would have started the controversy and I would have left them out yesterday. I would have left them
Wow.
out. I would have left them out. Like, for example, and this is how I say it. Look, if Bama would have lost 20-14, maybe been a play or two difference. And I mean, I can analyze that SEC title game last night and look at it and say, really, Bama and Georgia tied the game 7-7 because the punt block led to a Georgia TD. Bama was going for it on 4th and 2 because they're already down 21-7. That was another TD. And then the pick was in their own territory. So Bama's defense held up basically all night. It was a 7-7 game. But at the end, Georgia dominated. They were more aggressive. And for me, I'll say it like this. Why on God's earth can Kalen DeBoer not get like a good loss on his record? You know what I mean? You think about the 6 losses he has had. Blowout by Georgia. Freaking embarrassing loss to OU at home. You lose to Florida State. You lose embarrassing on the road last year. You look anemic versus Tennessee. And you just look god-awful everywhere else. And it's like, Kalen DeBoer, can we just have like a regular loss where it's 42-41? It was just one play difference. Like, no, if it just seems like every time Alabama plays, Kalen DeBoer, when it comes to losses, they are about as ugly as Auburn. That's just what it is. They're just so ugly. And I'm really serious about this, Spence. How they looked yesterday. And I'm surprised Mark Ingram and Damian Harrison are on my side of this. But yeah, I would have left Bama out. And of course, what would have happened if we'd have left Bama out? Oh, punished for being in the conference championship game. Well, I mean, damn, give it some, at least look like you wanted to be there. Bama, like, you just didn't look like that part all day long. And then, of course, why'd Bama get in? I mean, BYU lost twice to the same team convincingly. Like, it wasn't like they split the hairs. But overall, Spence, I'll say this. I think the committee knew, like, Alabama and Oklahoma, they probably want that matchup. And to be honest, if I'm Bama and Oklahoma, and I guess I'm just hating on Indiana, this is a lovely spot for you. Like, you have an opportunity to literally maybe go to the college football national championship, depending on if you're going to play Tech or Oregon, if you are to get past Indiana.
Yeah. But going back to what you said earlier about how you would have left Alabama out because of their loss in the conference championship, them being in, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the video. The committee does not care about conference championships. You just mentioned it. Alabama got in after getting embarrassed in the conference championship to Georgia. So that's the SEC. Move over to the Big Ten. As we mentioned, that was a loss by Ohio State. They move all the way down to the 2 spot. Okay, great. Let's move over the Big 12. Yeah, the Big 12 kind of worked out. Texas Tech was the best team in the conference all year. They stayed where they're at. But let me ask you this, James. Let's pretend just for a moment that the result of the game happened in, Tech blew out BYU. But let's pretend that first meeting between the teams did not happen. Let's say BYU came into this game and they were undefeated and they played some other Big 12 schmuck in that game instead of Tech. A loss would have put them in the playoff.
Yeah.
And so once again, that conference championship didn't really mean anything. BYU simply didn't make it because they lost to the same team twice in embarrassing fashion both times. So that's why that game didn't matter. And then, of course, you look at the ACC. Duke won their conference. They won the conference title game. They're 7-5. You can't put them in, so winning the conference title game doesn't matter, especially when you consider the fact that Miami didn't even play in the conference title game, and they still made the playoff as a 10 seed. And I know the conference title game mattered for Tulane. It mattered for JMU. But, guys, these teams are a group of 5 teams that should not be truly in the playoff consideration. And, in fact, I think this is the first and last year that you'll see 2 group of 5 conference title winners in the top 12 college football playoff. Maybe in the future, if it expands to 16, you might see that again. But in the 12-team format, this will be the first and last year because this is going to change. There is no way they're going to be okay with a JMU and a Tulane game on their playoff slate. It's just not ever going to happen. But college football playoffs, that has pretty much eliminated the need and the hype and the pageantry of the conference championship game. I think we're moving to a time, James, and let me know what you think about this. We're going to move to a straight up just division winner like it is in the NFL, where you don't have like a conference championship game, but whoever's got the best record in the division, in the conference,
Yep.
they are the winner. They earn all the stuff. And that's going to be how we go going forward, because the conference championship games this year meant literally nothing in just about every conference.
No, I'm with you. If the model of college football is already looking like the NFL, you're already paying these players, you're already paying these coaches so much, you might as well just fit the schedule alongside the NFL, do the structure just like that. Because, yeah, you're right. Earlier in the season, we talked about how big these freaking conferences are, and teams like Indiana and Ohio State didn't play anyone in the top tier, it seemed like all year. Not, they beat all the bottom tiers, but then it happened. Yeah, this should be just divisions. These conferences are big enough now they can do that. It'll be exciting what they do. I think they already expanded it once. Guess what? They're going to expand it again next year. I swear they'll find a way to get Congress in there, and they'll be sure to get 16 teams because brand recognition is a thing in college football. I will say when it came to the JMU and Tulane, what I would have done, I would have just flopped. I would have switched those two just because Tulane's already played Ole Miss once, and how that already got decided by like 5 TDs already. So I will say this, Spence. If I had to look at the games, I'm really only upset with one thing. Why is Miami and Texas A&M playing at noon on December 20th? And JMU has got the nightcap versus Oregon at 7:30. That's my only thing I'm upset
That's
about.
valid.
Like Friday night slate is set. The Tulane and Ole Miss game is perfect. It's in the middle. It's at 3:00 time. What does A&M do? Like, damn, like A&M and Miami get the noon slot. Like, I don't even, man, are people gonna be up at 11 a.m. to watch that game?
People starting to take off work. That'll be my first full day off of work. It's a Saturday,
That'll be
but
my
I
day
have
off
the
of
rest
work.
of the year off. And college football playoffs are here, James. And we will be giving y'all picks next week. We will be making our picks for all the first round action, and might even get into our national championship winners. So until next week, for James, I'm Spencer. This has been Big Pick Energy. We'll see y'all next week.